Hey everyone, welcome back to Let's Play Chrono Trigger, and this is the last, not last, but second to last, but last thing I'm going to be showing, which is the text. Most of these are self-explanatory. There's not really much to go into. If I notice one, I will, but most of it is just showing all the text. This video in particular is going to be only the single text. And yeah, there's two videos, because this was basically, even cutting all the footage, it was essentially 2 minutes, 20 minutes, not 2 minutes, 20 minutes of just text. That's how many texts there are in this game. Text as in T-E-C-H-S. Because sometimes I don't pronounce things accurately. I do have a problem with pronouncing things, so I'm clarifying that it's text. Anyway, yeah, some of the texts are cool. Some of them are not that useful, and yeah, most of these are actually going to take place in the Black Omen, only because it was more convenient just to go here and fight monsters than it was anywhere else. I did change the location a few times. Mostly near the end, though, not really in this video. But yeah, most of these are ones you've already seen. Some of them are ones I just never had a chance to use. But the main amount of texts are attack texts, which are broken down to like magic and then physical. And then there is, you know, healing is a big text. There's a lot of healing texts. And there's also a lot of, there's some status texts, but there's not a lot of them. There's a few of those. And also, a few of these you can only get with the stones that I showed how to get throughout the playthrough. I can't tell you what video they were because I don't remember, but most of them were near the end. The first stone you can actually get is the black stone in, actually, let me look that up because that's a good thing to look up. But the first stone you can get is definitely the black stone. You get that in, Zeal, but you get it in the first city of Zeal if you go through the secret door, or no, it's the second door. I think it's the second door, but it's in a doll. The doll will give you the stone. But yeah, you need the stones, and you need to equip them to one of the characters who does that tech in order to be able to use that tech. And if you don't, you won't be able to use that tech. That's pretty much it. That's pretty. Haste is actually a pretty useful move. I never use it, but it increases your wait time or decreases your wait time. Now, if your speed is max, that's not going to be a huge issue. But like in the moment, Luca and Marley are my slowest characters, so using haste isn't a horrible idea to use. You know, because then you can speed up the process of beating the enemies if you used haste. And yeah, there's, again, most of Marley's moves are healing moves. Isn't a bad thing. I mean, she has decent healing moves for sure. I wanted items. Oh, I can't find it. But yeah, there's the one of the stones are found in the Giant's Claw during the Giant's Claw side quest where you get the rainbow shell. That's, I think, the Silver stone? I'm not sure. I don't know what stone it is, but I definitely know there's one there. You get the gold stone from going to the Dondero Mountains with Frog after you get the powered up Masamune from the Cyrus side quest, and you'll catch a rock and it will be the gold stone. You get there's one in the Black Omen. I think that's the blue one, or maybe that's not the. Maybe that's the white one. I don't remember. There's one in the Ocean Palace too, I think. No, is it? There might be one in the Ocean Palace, but there's 5 of the stones. There's 5 stones: black, white, silver, blue, and gold. I said gold and black. Oh, you get the white rock from Anu in the burned down village that the Reptites burned down. That's where, yeah, that's all of them. One's in the Black Omen, one's in the Giant's Claw, one's in the Lambura village. But that village, that's where one of them is in the prehistoric era. And then there is one in, I said it before, you get one from Zeal, and then the Dondero Mountains. So yeah, that's how you get the rocks. You'll need those to do some of these texts. Those are going to be the triple texts, though. But onto rants, rather. Lately I've been having a lot of talk with my friends in college about Dragon Ball Z. Partly because my friend actually, he ordered Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi, I can't pronounce it, 3, for PS2 because my other friend got a PS2 from one of his friends, or one of our other friends. Lots of friends. We're all friends. We're friends. But anyway, he ended up accidentally getting the Wii version. I'm not sure if he just clicked the wrong version. I don't know the exact story, but he ended up getting the Wii version. I am the only one who has a Wii of my friends. So I brought down my Wii yesterday to play just random games, and one of them was, and also play the Budokai Tenkaichi. Yeah, play that because you know, he can't play it, so he's just, I think he's gonna give it to me, and I in return am going to give him. I have a Genesis version of Vector Man that I can't use because I don't have Genesis, and I'm also gonna pay him because it's not necessarily a super fair trade. But I will be giving him that because he can't use it anyway. But it's a pretty interesting game, but that's besides the point. Anyway, we've been talking a lot about Dragon Ball in general, and we actually watched the original. Even though I watched the entire series recently, I watched Dragon Ball again. Or we watched 2 episodes of that, and I'm willing to watch it again because, you know, it's a good show. It's one of those shows that I'm willing to watch over and over again because, you know, it's fun. And also, it's when you watch shows with your friends, it's different than watching them by yourself. So or even with family, because it's interesting to listen to the reactions and just, you know, have fun together as opposed to just watching it by yourself and, you know, laughing at the cheesy jokes. And yeah, I know I'm not talking about the text, but again, most of these are self-explanatory. I probably should be talking more about them, but I'm leaving up the little info screens. Again, most of them are either, I think a few of them, I think Luca had one that was Protect. That one increases the defense of characters. And then again, most of them are just attacks. Attack text, yeah. But anyway, the point I was trying to make was, if anyone has listened to me before, I've said I prefer Dragon Ball over Dragon Ball Z. I don't really like some of the things Dragon Ball Z does, and I've almost kind of gotten to the point of saying I think Dragon Ball Z is not that good. But when I really examine it, and I think you could do this with anything, and you should do this with anything, Dragon Ball Z is good. I enjoy Dragon Ball Z. I think a lot of times we get caught up on what we like the best, and we forget the fact that the thing that we're comparing isn't horrible, awful, bad. It's just not, we don't prefer it as much as the other thing. So yeah, you know, I enjoy it. Yeah, this is Charm. It steals from an enemy. I enjoy Dragon Ball Z. I don't like how it was presented in the initial run. I think Kai is fixing up the presentation, then cleaning it up, and making it present better. But the overall concept and presentation, or not presentation, but the overall concept, the overall story, what the manga had, and this attack does more damage, like Frog Squash, when the enemy has lower HP. But yeah, I like the overall concept of it. I guess my thing is, you know, I prefer the lighthearted humor and characterization that some of the characterization, some of the fights that Dragon Ball has. I like the lightheartedness. Now here's the thing. I don't want Dragon Ball Z to be like Dragon Ball. I don't want it to be, and I don't think it needs to be, and I don't necessarily know if there's anything that Dragon Ball Z needs to fix. I don't think there is anything it needs to fix. But I think people who say, well, it needs to have more what Dragon Ball has, I don't think the lightheartedness of Dragon Ball would work with Dragon Ball Z. They try to do that with GT, and for most people, there are some who like it, but for the most part, I don't like GT. It didn't work because Dragon Ball's lightheartedness does not belong in Dragon Ball Z's environment. I don't want Dragon Ball Z to have the lightheartedness because it doesn't work. You know, when you compare things, that's part of my problem with comparing, is people are comparing things that are slightly different. I prefer Dragon Ball, but I wouldn't want Dragon Ball Z to do what Dragon Ball does, because what it does do, it does well. It just doesn't. I just prefer Dragon Ball over Dragon Ball Z. There's not like either one is necessarily better. It just comes down to preference to an extent. But that's all the time I have for this episode. Join me next time for more text. This has been Mega Funner reminding you, pudding is sweet as ice cream.